Welcome to the Moving Humanity Forward podcast. My name is Kathy Malajani, and today we're having a conversation with a serial entrepreneur who has used barbering as a way of funding the various enterprises that he has undergone. He goes by the name Alex Simisi, and how excited am I to be able to share his story with you. Alex, so thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited for us to get your story out. Let's start off with you laying the foundation and just telling us a little bit about how you got to be a barber. I think I want to start there.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. And Alex is just a guy who got here with almost nothing. Been on the streets, done it all, and got saved from the street by my clipper, So being a barber for me today is more than. Has been more than just a skill. It has been surviving, surviving at all cost. And how did I end up being a barber? I think I never had a professional training to become a barber. It was curiosity. From a young age, growing up, the first time I touched a clipper, it was these old mechanical clippers, not these electronic ones.
Not the electronic ones,
yes. So I experiment, from friends and brothers, and that was it, So I was never. It was never in my head to, professionally, be a barber.
I think I want to I've gone too far ahead, by talking about barbering. I want to get you to take us through the journey because you just brushed past it. You said I was saved by my clippers. Yeah. I want you to talk a little bit about the on the streets that you mentioned, because you came to Botswana as a refugee.
Yes.
And there, when you come here, like you're saying, you and I had this conversation and you said to me, no one would leave their home to go somewhere else unless it was for a genuine, issue. So
yes.
Like you're saying, for you, it was survival.
Yes.
But when you got here, manual labor, you said you used to be at the main mall waving your hands to get picked to go do some manual labor, and different, whatever would come your way, I know you would do it. You ended up being a bouncer. I think that's just one of the many. So take me through there, because that is what opened the door to the barbering.
Okay. I think one of the first, jobs that we did, and remember, this is a 19, 20-year-old me. So, we would go around Botswana at construction sites, just trying to get piece jobs. And, we got a whole lot of those. And then there was a bricklaying company in Botswana where me and my friends used to work. I think that man hired us for the most part because he was Muslim, and he, usually hired young Muslim struggling, guys. So we were there, and, I wasn't really happy. So I needed to do more, and I think I was too ambitious. I was ambitious, and there was an opening that came when Shentemba used to be a nightclub in Botswana, just opposite BDF, and. When Shentemba opened, and it happened that the owner of Shentemba is from DRC, is a homeboy. So the management was Congolese, and I could relate. So, we wanted to work with the club because we thought that would be an upgrade from what we did, which was, the dirty work. So the entrance was not easy. So we had to create, we had a proposal to the management. It was like 4 or 5 of my friends. So we proposed to them that we could be how do I say, like a dance group. We could come together, and before when people are coming in, we could be there on the dance floor performing just to hype up the club. So they wanted to see what we meant by that, and we had to prepare. We rehearsed, we formed the group. It was like 5 of us.
What music were you rehearsing to?
That was Congolese music. That was rumba.
Okay.
I think it was Kofi Olomide piece. I don't really remember which one was. And the rest of the guys were quite good. And I wasn't as good as them. But I had to do my best to fit in. So on the presentation night, we did a presentation, and I misstepped. When everybody was to turn this side, I turned the other way, and then they used that misstep. The management, the Shintema management, they used that misstep to disqualify us. Saying no, we can't. You can't be hired. The idea was good, so they said, but they didn't want bad surprises at the time. So, but for me, that was a contact point, because while the rest of the guys blamed me for that, and everybody went back to what they used to do, I kept coming back to them because now I had their contact. So I needed more. So I thought they would take me as a bouncer because I was a gym fanatic by then. I was huge. So I thought maybe, a bouncer would fit. And, they took me in. They took me in as a bouncer. So, what I did is during the day, I'll be bricklaying, and then at night I'll be a bouncer, combining. And then during the process as a bouncer, you're meeting new people, you're meeting different people actually, because, at night you interact, should I say intimately with, most people. And there was this lady who, she was Zambian. She owned a salon. I think she worked closely with the Shintemba management. She was Zambian, and she had a salon. She had a salon, a barber shop in African Mall. So she needed someone. She needed someone, a barber. And then, that was my entrance as a barber, because obviously I told her I can barb, so I wanted
And you had last used your clippers on your friends and brothers?
Yes, that's it. I've never done it professionally, so it was a risk for me to take. And, it wasn't easy, the first, 2-3 clients. I don't think most of them were happy on my first, touch. But I stayed there and I learned. And also, as I was barbing, so I was barbing during the day and then bouncing at night. So it was really heavy. Sometimes I'll be dozing off.
I was about to say, did you sleep?
I'll be dozing off at night there as a bouncer, and then during the day I have to come and cut. So one had to go. So, but I couldn't take this, barber full time because that salon was not as busy. But because I was now a barber, I could network with other barbers. And then I got a chance to be employed with CJ's. CJ's hair salon was, at the time, one of the, busiest salons. And that for me now was when I arrived now as a barber, being at CJ's. So now I can say that was a takeoff for me,
So you managed to quit the
Yes.
bouncing?
Now I could now leave the bouncing because now CJ was busy and it was paying me well. And, I was doing that now full time, And also, it exposed me to a lot of people, a lot of prominent people, because CJ was busy. It was frequented by prominent people.
So you had more high-powered clients coming through.
100%, and so my, I think my networking grew, but I still didn't do it for me, it was living on a paycheck, because I was young, money came, it was good, life was good, but at least it exposed me to one certain gentleman who at the time needed some service.
I want to pause you there.
Yeah.
I want to remind you that you are watching the Moving Humanity Forward podcast, brought to you by Assure Wealth. Go ahead and find us on the Key Wealth Group Facebook page and listen into this one. Welcome back to the Moving Humanity Forward podcast. My name is Kathy Malajani, and I've got a guest who sponsored his serial entrepreneurship through barbering. Now, he goes by the name Alex Simisi. And Alex, you were still in the process of telling us this was not your passion, it wasn't your heart, but the money was coming in, it was going out, the life was good, you were now working at CJ's, and you met quite a prominent customer at the time, somebody who you had in your chair at least every month.
Yes.
Take me through that.
So remember, CJ's, money is good, you're young, so it was not a career, it was just, paycheck. It was good. And, rich people come in and out, and I meet this man who was interested. He spoke my language, actually. He spoke Swahili.
Oh.
So as we kept going, I noticed that this man is, he has a Mr. Ishmael Shakashukwe. So at the time, he was in the process of bringing Peugeot franchise to Botswana, and Peugeot is French. So he brought me in, to, translate documents and fill in documents, and because I speak French, and he needed that, that was probably my first consulting, at the time. So I did that, and Peugeot came to Botswana, and we became quite close, because I would, spend late hours with this, people that were, so difficult to meet, so difficult to open, but I had access to them.
Yeah.
So, that opened the door for me to leave the salon, because it was all survival. So, barber was just a stepping stone for me to my next adventure. Anything that came, I was ready to leave the barber. And, he offered me some managerial position at his, restaurant in Game City, Delta Cafe at the time.
Why? Did you express a desire to...
Yes, I did. I think I told him that, I needed more than just being a barber. Remember, I went to school and I had ambitions before I left the country, so this was just me trying to survive,
So plus you also, in your mind, had the impression that barbering is not really...
Yeah, for me, barbering we regarded it as, very, very low. I mean, people who didn't go to school are the barbers. That was... also in my mind at the time. But I think the guy who changed that for me was Osman, because at CJ's, there was also Lady Vanessa. No, Aphrodisia. So Aphrodisia, there was this guy, very good barber, very, very good barber, who had a huge following. So for us, it was the name, because CJ was a big brand, and, we just cut. I didn't care on keeping clients, just cut, make your money, go. For Osman, was a brand. He had a following because he was so good. I'll come to understand that later. So I'm moving with Mr. Ishmael, and now I quit barber. I'm a manager, run it for some time. He closes the restaurant, and then as a payout, he gives me my first big check, and I got myself a second-hand car, which I used as a pirate taxi. And that ran for a while, I think between maybe 2008, 2009, because I've been at CJ since 2002, 2003. 2003 and 2000, maybe 7, 8, I quit. And I was a manager, and then taxi. And then from there, taxi didn't work out. I quit, and so I had to go back to being a barber again, because that was the only fallback, that I could do to make money. And at the time, Osman had opened his barber shop at BBS. He had this porter cabin. And because he had a huge following, it was only natural for me to go to him and humble myself. I mean, that's important. He was a colleague. Now he had to be the boss. But now I had to relearn the whole barber, business, because for him, it was not just about cutting. It was, the whole techniques, the razors. So for a while, I struggled to cut any of his clients, because, I had to relearn the whole thing. And being with Osman, taught me that, it's not just barber. You need to build, a clientele base.
So quantity over quality,
Yeah,
basically. You want somebody whose haircut might take you an hour, but you're sure he'll come back.
For him, it didn't matter how long it took on a client, but the client had to be satisfied. So I had to learn that, and also, it gave me now a platform to become the barber, So I worked with Osman from BBS, and then, he closed. We moved to UB. Opposite UB. We had all the students from UB. So I think I worked for Osman for like 4 years, right? Learning the techniques. And because now I grew, and I was becoming Osman's protege, people trusted me, and he trusted me to run the shop, and he could do his other stuff, So I was that guy for a while, until something again came up. There was an opportunity for me to acquire a bar in Dukwi, back in the camp, which I took. I was glad to, drop barber any chance that I got, So I left it. I went to Dukwi back, 2012, ran the barber, the restaurant for a while.
Let me pause you.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a couple of different businesses, right? You're bouncing, you're talking being a manager, you're talking being a taxi driver, you're talking now being a bar owner.
Yes.
Did you have any experience in any of these, or what was the thinking or the mindset? You just jumped right in and say, okay, I've done my homework, I've calculated the risk, let me take a chance?
I think when you're on the streets, you learn as you go. When an opportunity comes, you take it, and then you learn on the job. I learned on the job being a barber. I learned on the job being a consultant, and then being a taxi guy. Now I was a liquor restaurant owner. I had to learn through that, and then the collapse and everything. So and also self-financing, because there was no outside financing. So then when the restaurant was also going down, because the refugee population now was reducing, because they had to repatriate the Angolan and the Namibians. So now my clientele, all of a sudden, there was money. There was money. I had to go back to leave town, because for me, it's all about making money, not being in town, or, making money. So there was good money until there was no money. So I had to find a way to come back to town, because in town, I can come back with nothing, but I had my skills. I could survive. I knew people. I came back being a barber again. This time, when I got back, I was a different person. I was married. So it was no longer survival. It was responsibility. Yes, so, everything changed for me. Everything changed, and the purpose, I was staying in phase 2, and there was this barber shop in Molapo, Eye Signatures. Luckily, the manager there was a guy that I knew for the longest, and they gave me a chance, they knew me. So when I went there, I wanted to join, and it was immediate. I joined, but this time I wanted to build a brand. I wanted to become another Osman. That was now my role. It was no longer being a barber, trying to meet someone and do something else. I wanted to become the brand, and that's where Alex was born, Alex the barber. This is now 2014. So between 2014 and 2016, 2 years by Molapo, I had one goal: open my own barbershop. And I achieved that. Second year, I quit High Signature, and I did very well. The moment I stepped in there, I didn't mind cutting 2 people, but those 2 people will stay with me, and they follow me anyway.
So the principles that you learned when you were with Osman, that one of saying, take whatever time you need to take
Yes.
to ensure that the client is happy.
Yes.
You were practicing that
Yes.
in Molapo.
Because I saw that Osman can be anywhere in a cave and people will follow him.
But let me also ask you this, because you've said when you're on the streets, you know, you learn on the job.
Yes.
I want to know in terms of fear, because I think that's what stops a lot of people,
Yes.
right? When you're hungry or you've been hungry and then you get some level of stability, and that's sort of happened throughout, you know, the different segments of the phases that you've been through, the managerial one, or so you see that you have some level of security. How do you deal with the fear, or is there no fear that you have to say, am I really going to leave? You know, there's a saying, the devil you know is better.
I think there was nothing to lose when I was growing up. There was nothing to lose. I had no responsibilities. But then when I had responsibilities, I think something clicked. You know, something clicked, and you had to be a different person, and not just by New Year's wishes and sentiments. There had to be some huge change to make, and I became a different person. I stopped doing everything that I did before. I stopped going out, I stopped drinking, stopped smoking, stopped everything. So I deprived myself with everything to become this person that I am today.
I want to pause you there again and remind you that you're watching the Moving Humanity Forward podcast, and you can actually find us on the Key Wealth Group Facebook page. Please go ahead and like us, and be sure to catch the rest of this conversation. Welcome back to the Moving Humanity Forward podcast. Now, our conversation today has seen us journey with Alex on his entrepreneurial journey all the way through different enterprises, almost always using barbering as the fundraiser of the different enterprises. So this final bit, or the journey of this final leg of his journey, has seen him get back into barbering, but this time around at a place in Molapo Crossing with the aim and the view to open his own business. Now, let me ask you this, Alex, because you mentioned having to change your whole lifestyle, having to stop drinking and smoking. And are you saying I can't start my own business if I drink and smoke? Are you saying that, you know, I need to change who I am in order to begin my own business? What was the reasoning for it?
Well, it depends on what you're aiming for, because if you're aiming to get yourself to a certain level, there are some sacrifices that you have to make, and financing is a very huge part of, you know, you taking yourself from where you are to the next level. And remember, with my case, I didn't have any financial backing. I didn't have loans. It was just my craft, my job that I had to use. So, and this time I'm working at Molapo. It's on commission basis, and you have 40% of your sales, that's your salary, to work on. And this time I'm building a brand. So it's not about quantity for me, it's about quality. Unlike the rest of my peers in the barbershop, they need the volume so they get more money, better pay. But for me, because I had a vision, I needed to build a brand. I started, you know, working on my brand, meaning cut as little people that you can, but make sure that those people will stick to you. And so I had to be very, very disciplined. I had to change everything around me, completely everything around me, for me to achieve. I needed to open a barbershop, and I needed to finance it myself, so I had to stop everything completely.
So that was a method of ensuring you save money, because you can't be drinking or smoking, whatever other little things.
There is just so much distraction, and the money, when you have the money, you can spend it easy when you have the money. And most of these barbers, they get paid cash. They get paid cash. I mean, it's an envelope. And once you have the cash, chances are you use it. So I had to really, rethink the whole money thing, And I started doing that, and, it paid off. 2 years during that, I identified a spot. So I was by Molapo. I identified a spot by Westgate Mall. There is a car wash by Wimpy.
Yes.
So remember, I worked with Osman. Osman had a potter cabin. So I wanted to become the second Osman. Yeah. So I had to retrace Osman's steps, So 2 years down the line, I was by Westgate Mall. There was a car wash, there was a potter cabin. I had spoken to these people. I had a vision. So I had to quit Molapo. When I quit Molapo, the potter cabin was not ready. But because I had the clientele, I was doing mobile barber.
Oh, so you go to people's house?
Yes, and because I had a car at the time, which I bought with my savings, it was easy for me to follow my clientele. And because these were loyal clientele now, it was easy for me to now build that brand, going to people. Yes.
All that time it was getting less paid.
Yes. Yes.
But now you have people who are loyal to you.
Now I was a brand. Yes. So I was one of the first people to start this mobile barber thing. And while I'm doing the mobile barber, I'm financing, I'm buying chairs, I'm trying to equip this, potter cabin. And then that was it. I mean, 2017, I started the potter cabin, and that now was. You remember the whole structure in me had changed. So I was a different monster. The barbershop now was, a business for me. It was a business more than anything. And, I build now from that barbershop, as I'm cutting and as the money is growing, I'm thinking of different things now. Because now I didn't treat my client as stepping stone, people that, I saw employment or anything. For me now, it was a business. And then I'll use this money now that I was saving to, venture into other things. And the first thing that I ventured into was, buying and selling cars. So I started that, and,
What year was that? How long did you give yourself before you started venturing into other things?
Well, I think 2017, 2019, I was already buying and selling cars. Okay. Yes. And then COVID hit. And COVID hit, and it hit bad for the other barbers, for the whole industry. But I still had clients who would get permits online to follow me at the house. Yes, some they would get me permits to come to their houses. So for me, I survived COVID because I had clients coming to me, yet the industry was dead. So then after COVID, I had to train now someone who would take over the barbershop. That was very important for me also because I had to exit now the whole barber thing. I had built a brand, and the returns came, which was financial stability, to start something. And this thing I foresaw, growth into. So I was looking at exit plan now,
Let me ask you this, because you talk about bringing someone else in, and you had spoken to me about empowering this person. I want you to get into a bit of detail about that. But for now, I wonder, were you not afraid that person would, come in and maybe take your business, take your clients? Talk to me about that.
Well, for me, you build a brand, and at some point, you have to delegate. And when I mean delegate, I mean to pull out. So with barbershop, it's very, very difficult to hold on to the brand. It's different for other brands. Other people, what I did, I built myself as the face of the brand. So it's either I exit it completely or I train someone, they build their own brand and they take over and I'm completely out. Now you have other brands like Legend Barbers. There is no face to Legend Barbers. So it's a franchise. Anybody can take over as long as they train the barbers to be as good as the next barber. So for me to exit, I needed someone, a protege who will take over that I won't have control over. So you have to let go. I mean, there's money. I had money coming in, but I had to bring in someone, train him, give him clientele. He worked under me for a year on commission basis. The next year, I told him, you're on your own. We were competing, sharing rental, and then last year, I left the barbershop to him completely, and I'm fully into, car imports now. So, for me, that was a huge achievement, if I may say. The barbershop is still running, and I still have a few clients that I attend to. But this is
Alex's touch.
yes, very few. But this is very limited because I'm very, very busy trying to build this other business and already trying to also see how to grow it. And remember, it's all about financial discipline. Financial discipline. When you're running a car wash, when you are running a barbershop, or any other daily income business, the first thing that you have to do is to control that one puller that comes in. If you cannot control that puller, then you are going to remain on the same spot.
I actually want to, take that further, because that's one of the things I wanted you to address, to say part of it is you empowered somebody. I would like you to speak a little bit to that, to say why was that an important thing, because I think you count that as one of your successes.
Yes.
And the other one was an advice that I'd like you to give, especially to people in the informal sector, because it's those little one pullers that come in, and I think that people spend them without thinking about it, because it's $50 there, $20 here. What advice would you give somebody who has that kind of business, whether it's food or taxi, something that brings money in almost on a daily basis, but not necessarily large amounts?
Well, empowering someone is very important, because if this boy was still working under me, if I didn't empower him, and if I'm sitting here right now and I have an emergency at home, I need someone to take care of that emergency, he's not going to be able to do that because I've kept him in a position where he hasn't grown, right? But me empowering him meant him being financially, and I had to teach him financial discipline. So in a year of him working for himself, he had a car, so that facilitates him to be his own man. And also it gives me also some, breathing space to know that, okay, there is someone out there who's financially stable. If I ever need money, he will be more than happy to support me, you see, even though he's his own man. That's number one. And then number two, it doesn't matter where the money is coming from. If you're getting money from CEDA, from a bank or anything, that money comes and go. That's what I've learned. Money comes and go. If you want to get to the next level, you have to treat money, you have to respect money. And the little money that comes in, if you are a daily cash business, take that money to the bank, Orange Money or whatever. If you can, I can hold 50,000 and sleep, but not so many people can do that. Yeah. So if you can do that, then take it to the bank, but pay yourself some time. But you have to stop, going to franchises, living the same lifestyle, and think you are going to take yourself to the next level. You can try your best, and you're just gonna be, accumulating debt. I don't owe anyone. I don't have any loans. I haven't gotten to the position where I have to be, but I believe I'm on the right track, and it's all about building, having discipline with money, I would say. Yeah.
Alex, your story has been very
Yeah.
inspirational. I'd like you to just wrap it up for us by just speaking to somebody who is considering being a barber. You started off as it was survival, then it became this is the plan I'm going to use to finance myself. What would you say to somebody who's considering it and thinking about getting into it, whether for a passion or whether thinking about it just as a money making venture?
Well, it's a profession. It's barber open doors, huge doors. You know, you have contact with people personally, intimately. It's very, very important. It gets you into rooms, but how you stay in those rooms, that is obviously up to you, depending on you. But it will open doors that, you know, you hard for you to believe. It's a profession. You need to don't treat it as a low class paying job. It's a whole, take it from me, it will open doors for you in different ways. You have family. I don't call my clients just clients. These are friends, lifelong friends. We share, very, very, intimate conversations. So, I think I have a family now, like, and it's broad. I mean, it's, on different social levels, For me, that is the best thing ever, I have, on my phone, I have, people that, on different level of life that I can call and talk to. And if I'm stuck, I mean, in so many ways, I know who to call. And it's all thanks to being a barber. So it's, I think people needs to, whoever wants to become a barber, they need to have that in mind. Don't do it for the money, do it for, the brand. It's very, very important. Do it for the brand, build yourself and create that relationship, because, guys are so loyal to their barbers than probably to their, partners.
I saw that coming.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's all I can say about, being a barber. Yeah.
Alex Simisi was our guest for today. An absolutely, absolutely riveting conversation. Do catch us on the next episode of Moving Humanity Forward. My name is Kathy Malajani.